See, this is what happens when you eat a microphone and you start choking on it. Charmander. Hello, I am Quest3V8.
And I am Bakura240. And, oh, bugger, right.
This is not scripted. Honest.
Just as I stopped, I was like, wait, no, I'm supposed to say the thing. Right, And I'm Bakura240, and today we're talking about the big news that everyone's been talking about, is Justin Bieber cutting himself. Wait, no, that's actually a hoax, and what we're actually here to talk about is the new Pokemon X+Y, yay!
The crowd goes wild. Only one screw up this take.
Yeah.
Woo! You may have been able to tell through the ruse, as you can see in front of you, the fantastic piece of artwork that Bakura240 has done for me, for you to look at with your eyes. Look at this eye candy right here. Sexy Bulbasaur, sexy Squirtle, and completely retarded Charmander. Just the way it's supposed to be.
They're all retarded, though. Can't you see that beautiful retardedness in their face?
Mander. That's what I had. That's what I had right there.
They should have all been drooling to make the point more poignant.
Nah, I like the Squirtle. The Squirtle looks cool.
Oh, God. And sorry, I'm dying a little bit today.
Everyone, you may need to cover your ears because, ow.
I'll cough away from the microphone. It'll be fine.
Are you sure?
Yes, it'll be fine.
Shall we get back on track now? What was she talking about? Oh, no, we weren't talking about Justin Bieber. Right. We're talking about the brand new launch of X and Y. What does everybody think about that? Please leave on the message a comment. If you're looking forward to it, yay. If you're not looking forward to it, why? What's wrong with you? You're not a normal human being.
So I do think the only people that are going to be looking forward to it as much as we are the people who also grew up in the 90s and so played the first games that came out. Whereas I feel like people who only played the most recent games and didn't grow up with like Red and Blue don't have the same appreciation for it as us, because when we played it, it was on this crappy cartridge. You didn't have great graphics. It was all about the adventure and the storytelling, and it worked. Whereas now it's all about fucking graphics and stuff
and magic of computers. These kids
don't know about Pokemon.
Well, this one's on the 3DS. I mean, that's not the best thing ever, as I don't own one, so that's another thing I'm gonna have to buy.
You'll have to go out and buy 3DSs, especially for this game, but we have until October, so hopefully they'll be very cheap until then.
Until then? You mean by then? They ain't cheap. I went to go look today. They're £169 was the cheapest one that they had. I saw that was brand new. I believe if you got it second hand, you might be able to get it a little bit lower than £169, but don't quote me on that one.
It won't go for much, but I might try and sell my old DS, because I've got one of the proper old school brick ones, so it won't go for much, but I won't have a need for it once I've got a 3DS.
Don't go into game. Go somewhere else if you're going to sell it. I mean, what? I didn't say anything.
Oh, not saying anything.
No, I'm not saying anything. Other game shops are available. Not many, but some are available.
And Americas, but for anyone from England, we know that CEX is very good. Game Station used to be, but they got bought out by Game, so that sucks. So yeah, your choices are pretty much CEX, but if you're in Derby,
you could have Humv. Humv sell things.
Yeah, but Humv are still they're corporate. They would just want your money. But yes, even though this may be push, as I highly doubt many of our audience will have been to Derby or even
know where it is. What is a Derby?
There is a shop in the market that is. So this is our endorsement. We're giving them free advertising, even though it's shit because no one's going to watch this. But, yes, a lovely retro game shop in the Eagle Market, and I don't know if they have 3DSs, but I'm sure at some point they will, and they are lovely people, so you should go there if you know, and you should tell them we recommended you, not that that's ever going to happen.
And not that they're going to know who the hell we are anyway. Anyway, moving swiftly on to endorsing things we shouldn't be endorsing and telling people to do things that we shouldn't be doing, because that's not what we're here to do. We're here to talk about Pokemon. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Pokemon right here. The new Pokemon. It's on the 3DS. That's a problem. It's not great. Covered that already. However, Pokemon 3DS sales are already going up because this has been announced today. How
Really?
insane is that? I spoke to my compadre at my old place of work, and they've sold a lot more because kids want to play this game. And this game isn't out until October. So, as it's January sales, people have been running around buying 3DSs just specifically because they're waiting for this. So that kind of shows you the amount of power of endorsement the Pokemon franchise has on majority of people in the world.
Well, I actually think this is a pretty smart move from Nintendo because everyone knows that 3D is on its way out. Like, they brought out the 3DS roundabout when 3D hit its peak because, Avatar came out, everyone loved 3D, and then it carried on for a few years, and then in recent years it's just plummeted. No one likes 3D anymore. I mean, even if I buy one, I'll always have the 3D setting turned off because I don't like it. But yeah, I think Nintendo have thrown something that they know will be a great game and a great seller out, just as 3DSs are almost on their way out. So now they're going to be up again simply because of this game.
Well, it's definitely a good move. I mean, they've done a lot for a game that has pretty much never been on the radar, and they've just come on the radar. And to say it's going to be released in, when did they say, October?
Yeah, because everyone assumed the next game was going to be the reboot of Ruby and Sapphire because it was, that's like the next one to get rebooted supposedly, and everyone sort of thought that in the usual order that they bring games out, they thought it was most likely they were going to do that. So they've kind of thrown us a curveball.
Nobody was expecting it.
Just something completely new, not in the sequel or anything, just something brand, which is awesome.
Easy there. Don't be dying on me. Well, this one's got 3 brand new starters. I mean, I know which one my favourite is. I mean, what's your favourite, Claire?
My favourite has got to be the grass otter. Well, no, it's not an otter. It's more like a chipmunk if you look at its teeth. Because Sam is a ladybugger, we're not going to show you pictures of them as we're talking about them.
So Claire's going to describe them in interpreted dance, and you can't see either, but it's going to amuse me because you'll hear the noises of the... and then the eventual ow as she hurts herself because her body doesn't bend that way. The one that you're talking about, Chespin?
There's been many comments that he's basically a grass Oshawott, is it Oshawott? I never know if it's Oshawott or Oshawott, but yeah, basically people have said that he's just a grass copy of that, which is complete bull, because yes, he has some similar characteristics, but they've kind of gone up to 600 Pokemon now, so there has to be some similarities.
They're kind of running out of things to do. They're going to start moving on to like stationery and in various inanimate objects other than trees, because they've already done that. And rubbish. They've done rubbish in a rubbish bin, So, they're running out of ideas. Though I must admit, the water Pokemon Froakie, I believe that's how it's called, which is a frog, is the only frog Pokemon, because I can't remember there being another one. I know there's amphibious ones. I mean, look at Squirtle. It's blatantly amphibious. But as in regards to actual frogs, I can't think of one.
Actually, no, I can think of one. I got its name, but it's green and it's got a little thing on its head. I've forgotten its name. If anyone watching knows it, then comment. But yeah, there is.
Technically, you could actually look this up right now, but I can't because I'm showing everyone this lovely picture that's actually on my screen, rather than actually just inserting the picture onto the video, which probably would have been a better idea. But screw that. That's not what I'm doing. I'm doing this, and that's that.
Pillartoad's a frog. It's like this little thing with a swirl on its tummy. And apparently there's... I don't know if... Oh no, it's a fake one, it's okay.
See? I don't think there is one.
There's another one is, but no, the one I just said, Pillartoad. Oh, whatever I said, that's a frog Pokemon, but that's the only one. And that's single one from what I can tell, I think. No, I might be wrong about that. But yeah, so very few frog looking Pokemon. This is the only one that looks like it has headlights for eyes.
That's always a good look. That drives the women wild. That's what I heard.
Just expect beams of light to come out as like every time he blinks, just like bzzz.
Maybe that's how it shoots hyper beam through its eyes.
Pokemon.
All I heard then was Pokemon. I didn't hear anything else.
Then.
Oh, the volume's gone all funny. What's going on? Are you there? Are you there, Claire?
Yeah.
That's alright then. And the final brand new starter, obviously it's a fire type. Do you want to take this one, or shall I take it?
One and half of the other one. But yes, Fennekin, a fire fox Pokemon. It's like we haven't seen a fire fox Pokemon before, but this one I'm hoping is different and, you know, hopefully better than Vulpix, because Vulpix is kind of one of those Pokemon that's, it's not bad, but it's not like good, and you know. But yeah, Fennekin, I've heard someone say that Fennekin just looks like a cheap version of Tail.
A cheap version of Tails. It doesn't fly, does it?
No, gave it a second tail. Maybe I'd assume it doesn't fly. I know I'm not a huge fan of it. The first time I saw it, I thought, wow, that it's between that grass one for me. But the more I look at it, the more I dislike it. Like it's I don't like its face.
Well, it's definitely the Toad for me all the way. I really like it.
That's just because you like reptiles.
What are you trying to say?
Blooded things.
You're trying to say I'm cold-blooded? I have no heart. I have to lay in the sun to get warm before I can actually function for the daily activities.
Yeah, that's well, no, that can't be true because from up north, you'd have to deal with the cold all the time. There's no sun up there.
Yeah, that's why I have an electric blanket. And then, like, when I wake up, I'll go, I'm a charging.
Oh,
Hey, time to carry on with my day. Woo-hoo-hoo. Just like that.
Oh. Okay. What's our next? Because I feel like I've said all the things I'd thought of saying, so now I'm kind of.
You're running out of things to say. Oh dear, we're only 12 minutes, what, 13 minutes in, really? Let's have a let's consult the list. Not John's list, but a list. This list says, what do you think of the 3D aspect of this game? Because it's laid out completely different to all the other games. At least it looks like it from the promo video that I watched. You know, with it being like, not, well, 3D, but even flat 3D, if that makes any sense.
Like just the graphics in general? Oh.
Because it brings a whole new, like, well, for lack of a better word, dimension to the game, doesn't it? Because it, you know, before it's just a basic side-scrolling, basic, like, you know, it's above view really, isn't it? But it's flat. Whereas this isn't like that. It's slightly different. It's more like a, for lack of a better example, it's very Nintendo 64-y.
Thing is, because if you look at it, it's sort of, it's not actually that much different from the usual, except for the fact that because it's on the 3DS, you can feel, I don't know, because I'm excited about it, because I think it will make the game feel more like you're actually in the game, because, you know, you walk through the grass, and from what I can tell on the video, you know, if you find a Pokemon, it then almost switches to your view, so that you're there walking through through the grass, you find the Pokemon, and I think it's all very interesting, but then when you really come down to it, it's still exactly the same way of moving about, just in a different sort of, with more graphics, basically. I may be wrong, because of course we can't actually play it or watch a playthrough of it yet, but from what I can see, it's just that it's on a device that allows for more layering.
I suppose so, but from that video that the one I saw, well, it's not exactly the greatest thing. Like you said, it's not actually a playthrough, so you can't physically see what it's like. And I suppose it's actually finished yet, so it's probably nowhere near the point where they could actually show you a proper playthrough. But the pathing on it didn't look that great. I mean, you see the guy walking, and I know, like, even on the old school one, it's dependent on, like, the turning circle's always been a right angle. I mean, it always has, but I thought with the 3DS that it would have dulled it down, not to the fact that he's turning like a boat, but to turn it a little bit more to make it look more fluid, rather than suddenly jarring left as if he's doing some kind of football maneuver in American style. Like, you know what I mean? Rather than it just being so awkward and jittery, but that you only see it for a couple of seconds, so it's a bit difficult to judge. I mean, it could be the case that the person who is actually physically controlling the game at that point just did it like that. It might be the fact that I'm reading too much into it. I did that a lot. But it definitely does give a different dimension to it that I think is it's very intriguing. Whether it works in practice is a completely different matter.
I mean, because there's still a lot of time for them to make changes. What they're showing is just, demo graphics. There's months for stuff to change, and I highly doubt that they're going to be spending however many months, I can't think off the top of my head, just fixing bugs. So clearly there's still a lot of work to do on it. So hopefully some improvements based on things people might say. We'll just have to see, because I think it's definitely a step in the direction of what a lot of, especially us people who've been there since the beginning, want, which is a Pokemon adventure which feels a lot more real.
Yeah.
When we were younger, we had imagination and we didn't know any better with graphics, so we sort of made the adventure our own. Whereas I think now, especially with people who are older who still remember playing it as a kid, we almost need, like, it's just short of making a virtual reality game, which is what I'm hoping for in the future. If they make that, you'll never see me again. I'll just be in Pokemon all the time.
Well, funny you should bring up virtual reality. Gonna stem away from this just a little bit. Digging for news. I don't believe if you do you follow it on YouTube or?
What?
Digging for news. It's a YouTube channel. They do videos on new and current technologies. Usually in Japan is usually where they do it, because that's where all the, like, conventions and whatnot are. Do you follow that at all?
Yeah.
Right. Well, basically, they've recently, within the last month, did a review on a piece of technology that the Japanese are creating called the virtual body. And basically what it is, for lack of a better description, is it's a car seat surrounded by technology. So in front of you, you've got a giant screen that is showing you live world images. So say like a street scene from London.
Yeah.
And you wear a pair of goggles that block off your peripheral vision, so all you can see is this screen. So obviously you're focusing on the screen. It sort of like gives you like a dulled down version of tunnel vision. And you wear a pair of headsets which are surround sound capabilities. You've got a sound box, a vibration box, wind generators and fans, as well as smells that can be generated from whatever technology it is that they've got. That obviously there's certain pockets within the technology that's released at that point with a certain item in it. Yeah. So if you and then basically what it does is it shows you and simulates you walking down streets and round environments, including things such as like Olympic sprinting, and it's all done from this perspective as if you were actually sprinting. And the whole purpose of it is to simulate, well, obviously it's to virtually simulate what's happening. Well, they're hoping to use this for the elderly, according to this. And I know what my grandmother would say if someone said, "Do you want to sit in this chair for 3 hours and simulate you walking around Paris?" And I'm not about to repeat what she would say, well, right now, because I don't want my account banning. But basically, yeah, that's the general gist of it. But I would assume that if they did manage to create something like that and it did take off, then I wouldn't say that a Pokemon like virtual reality game would not be an impossibility.
In our lifetime, hopefully.
But I don't know how you would control it. It would have to be maybe a full-on simulated experience where you can't really control what's going on.
Well, it would be pretty cool if obviously it's fiction, but if they could get something like in Sword Art Online, but the thing is, I'm assuming the idea behind that is that the thing you're wearing on your head messes with your brain in order to get you to have the experiences that you'd have as though you're actually there. And, people are never happy to have their brains fucked around with on a daily basis.
Well, they say that it's connected to the nervous cortex or something along those lines, and that's why they can't disconnect it, because it kills you. Now we're moving completely away from Pokemon, like, never mind. Like, I think that if you did do something like that, it would be a case of a lot of people would probably die.
Yeah. You'd have to have a lot of risky tests as well. It is a shame because I really would like. The trouble is, I'm one of those people that if they created really good virtual reality, to a degree, I would spend most of my time doing that because, who wouldn't, unless you have like the perfect life. But
well, that rules me out. I don't have the perfect life.
I do just get the feeling that in our lifetime we may see virtual reality, but not as we like. You see in all these sci-fi things, and they do it, and it would be great if like you could have actual holodecks and all of this stuff. But in our lifetime, I think they'll only come out with fairly basic versions of what could be done. Nothing like we would hope based on media and fantasy.
You say that,
Right.
but I'm still holding out for hoverboards. I've seen Back to the Future, and it's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, all that stuff's like pretty close.
So those inventors that may or may not watch this, get going, right? We're running out of time. We need hoverboards. We need them now.
Need hoverboards in another like 6 or 7 years. We're not going to be able to ride hoverboards because we'll be like get into that age where if we fall over we might die.
Screw you.
So
I don't care if I'm 80. I'm having a go on one. It'll be my life dream fulfilled. I'll be like, I am Marty McFly at 80-year-old.
Oh, but you'll have to get Parkinson's.
No, that's not funny. That's too far. Too far. Too
Sorry.
far.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, anybody out there who may have that or may be affected.
I'm not good at dealing with like my granddad didn't have Parkinson's, but had something that's like nearly. I don't know. My mum tried to describe it to me, and I didn't. Right, we're going off topic. Back to the Pokemons.
Well, yeah, nice and depressing there.
Unfortunately, I consumed half a can of Stella, so this may explain it.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I will forgive you. I hope the internet will too. Anyway, localization issues. Basically,
are there any issues? I thought that was the whole deal with this version, that they're because if for anyone who's not seen the big Nintendo Direct video where I can't remember his name, but the guy who like does stuff.
That guy.
That guy
who does stuff. Yeah, narrows it down. The main developer, I think she's trying to say, ladies and gents, and maybe other things.
Because I didn't want to give him an official title and then find out that I'd got it wrong. But yeah, he was saying that in previous years and on previous Pokemon games, there has always been a delay between a game's release from Japan to the rest of the world. With back in like the day with Red and Blue and even Gold and Silver, it was something like 6 month delay, whereas more recently it's been more like a month, maybe a few weeks delay. This is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be the first game full stop or just the first Pokemon game, but it's going to be coming out for everyone at the exact same time with no delays. So everyone around the world can like join up to the network and play with people around the world who are experiencing everything for the first time. And I didn't get all the technicalities 100%. Basically, it's to do with the localization, which I'm assuming you can guess from the word. That just means making like things usable for all the different countries and all the different locations it's going to be in. And because of advancements in technology, they can now just release it all in one go and have everything done already. And it seems to be a pretty big thing. But then I guess there is a concern of having everyone get the game at the exact same time. Does that mean that there's going to be like lots of crashing? Does that mean like obviously on the online stuff? Because like I know with Black and White, as you could get all the extra stuff with what was it called again? Was it Victini, the bonus Pokemon?
I believe so, yes.
And there was like I waited like I didn't get the game till a while after, and then waited ages to get Victini. But I'm sure I heard about like there being lots of trouble because on like the first week everyone was trying to get it at the exact same time. And I may be wrong about that, but I'm sure I remember there being a lot of problems with stuff in the first week because everyone's trying to do it. I mean, every game that goes online gets that within the first month, maybe within the first year. You get massive crashes whenever there's like a big sale of the game because everyone's trying to do the same thing at the same time. So I guess that's something we won't really know for certain until nearer to the time or when Doomsday comes and the game is released.
Well, we will see, but Nintendo usually are pretty good at mass releases, so just keep our fingers crossed. I think it'll probably go alright.
Enough experience in the field. It is Nintendo after all.
It's true. X and Y. What do you think? Why do you think it's called X and Y? Is it because it's an X and Y generation, or do you reckon it's because of male and female, which is possibly around? It spends around the orientation of the genders of the new legendaries, which we don't know the names of. Well, I don't know the names of. I know one of them's a stag, and I can't remember what the other one is.
They gave the names of them on the video, but the other one's like a big fly dragony eagle thing.
So we'll go with eagle dragon thing.
Eagle dragon thing. But or is it simply that they're running out of things that there are two opposites? So I bet you the next Pokemon will be called Yin and Yang, because they're running out of they've run out of colours, so they've gone to axes.
You can have positive and negative.
Maybe that's it, because X and Y are like axes, and it's on a 3DS. Maybe that's why it's called X and Y, to sort of commemorate the
new launch of the 3DS.
That it's meant to be more like 3D.
That's possible, I guess.
Yeah. Or again, maybe they just I don't know. I'm assuming they had reasons behind it.
Some guy just walked into the office one day and went, X and Y. There's some pretty cool letters. Pokemon X. Cool. Pokemon Y. Yeah, I like it. Pokemon Z. No, I feel like I've seen this somewhere before.
Because you hear Pokemon X and you think, X, that's so, like, everyone knows X is, like, the cool thing. If you've got an X, then it's like, X, it's cool, it's going to be amazing. Y, and then it's kind of like, why? Yeah.
It's not the 10th game, though, is it?
No, this is not the 10th generation or anything, so it definitely won't be that. But you know what I mean? It's but it does just make me laugh, the idea that someone came and was like, Pokemon X, and everyone was like, yeah, that's amazing, it sounds so cool and edgy. And then just another day someone came and was like, Pokemon, why? And they like, yes, we've got it. And then just like, you know, went home and cried himself to sleep because his wife left him.
And that's where it's like, no, Pokemon, you've ruined my life. Why? All I did was love you and design a garbage can that was alive. Why?
Shouldn't say garbage. We're not American.
Oh,
it's
well. Rubbish.
And
what do you think of it so far? Rubbish. Like that.
Yeah. Oh, comedy.
Comedy gold. That's not what you get in this kind of video. But never mind. Also, I've had a thought, which is really bad, because I shouldn't really be thinking, especially about what I actually had a thought about. When you said about getting that kind of disease, I think it'd be better if I had just basically got some blue Smarties and dehydrated some Sunny D and snotted that, because that would pretty much give me the same effect.
What? Why would you tell people that? Someone's going to go and do it now and we're going to get sued.
Because some kid's going to have like a hyperactivity attack and have like a seizure because of all the sugar and E numbers in blue Smarties and dehydrated Sunny D. Yeah, possibly. Oh well, never mind. Well, they'll never catch me. Oh crap.
She's being told off.
No, that was me. That was them coming and knocking on my door. But
So,
they've already found me. I haven't even uploaded the video yet. That and apparently I'm being too loud.
I probably am as well, but no one said anything yet. So,
Well, it must be nice to live in where you live. Can't say now, just in case they come for you. She lives in a really small place. Small enough.
yeah, but it's not like I live in a hamlet.
That's true. She doesn't live in a Shakespearean play.
It's a small village that isn't a village because it's so small. I think
It's not a village. It's so small. It's just a Shakespearean play. Yes, that's what it is. No, I know what it is. I did geography one time.
Yeah, of course you did. You had to do because you did geology, the science of geography, or something. Yeah.
How is geology the science of geography? Surely the science of geography is geography.
We're getting so.
Why am I saying geography? It's geography. Geography, yeah. The science of geography is blatantly the science of geology.
I think you'll find it's geographer.
Geographer. Delajar. What's yours?
What do you mean?
What? How do you pronounce yours?
I think you'll find it's Wingardium Leviosa.
Wingardium Leviosa. This is what happens when you spend all your time on the internet, kids. Get out there and kick a football around. Or something.
Don't become like us. We're both stuff our parents.
Tell the world. Tell the world I live with my parents. Great. It's great. I'm like a sponge. You'll never get rid of me.
They'll think you're gone, but you're actually just growing in the damp walls. You're like, I'm still here.
I'm just there in a dark corner.
Still off topic. Let's go back to the
We'll go back to the Pokemons. Is there any mold in the Pokemon world? Pokemold. I like it. Pokemold.
Just something. Because you've got Pokemon, animals that you could see, and you've even plant Pokemon. Does that mean that you get microscopic germ Pokemon?
Maybe. Like Pokegerms.
That'd be awesome. Like, say, if you could get a Pokemon, like, it's Germamon, and it's, like, obviously they'd have a blown-up picture of it, because otherwise you wouldn't do anything. But it could actually be a group of them, like, you capture a group of these germ Pokemon, and rather than do, like, harmful attacks, they just give the other Pokemon diseases and Lupus, go! Gang.
Oh, that's such a bad idea, but it's so beautiful at the same time.
They could have a Pokemon game where at some point you get shrunk down and you discover all these microscopic Pokemon, and then you're like, dude, there's all these microscopic Pokemon that we can make bigger, and and all of this shit, and I don't know.
I think what's going to happen now is you're going to go away and draw some microscopic Pokemon, and then I can link them in the description of this video so people can go, what is this woman doing with her life?
Steals my Jeremy Pokemon idea. I'm coming after you.
Patented.
Patent, not painted.
It might be painted. It's painted. Oh. Is there any other new Pokemon in the release of this one, other than the 3 starters and the 2 legendaries?
Sorry, I completely blanked on what you just said then.
That's nice. Oh, I'll have to repeat myself for everybody else. I said, do you know if there is any new Pokemon in this game other than the 3 starters and the 2 legendaries?
As far as I know, none have been revealed, but I think we can assume that over the next few months we will be getting, in quotation marks, leaked some possible,
some brilliant marketing by Nintendo that will just come in some really roundabout way. Like someone leaves a USB on a train in Tokyo and just suddenly happens to contain 200 new Pokemon that gets leaked onto the internet or something along those lines.
So I reckon it will be that sort of over the year maybe they'll reveal some. There's probably going to be a lot of fake posts or people being like, oh, like, I don't see on DeviantArt a lot of people do really good quality pictures of Pokemon they've invented. Usually they title them Fakemon, but that's only like one set of people that do that. So I'd imagine there's going to be a lot of, fake ones. There's going to be a lot of people moaning, and it's hard to know because I don't know. Have you ever watched Did You Know Gaming?
No.
It's quite good. I watched one the other day with Stu and Rosie, and it was saying that originally, well, do you know what Pokemon Shellos is? You should do because it's from Black and White, but I know.
Yes, I think so. For the purpose of everybody else, I haven't played all the Pokemon games, so I'm a little bit behind. I know all the originals. I mean, I'm from the 80s. I'm gonna know all the originals. I was at the premium age when it came out in the 90s. It was like the thing, so I know all the originals. I think I probably know up to about Gold off by heart. I've played Pokemon White, but I've not played White 2. I don't think properly I've not played anything else in the middle. Oh, that's nice. ABG just came up with a great big warning right in the middle of my bit thing that I was recording. Thank you very much, AGG, because that's something I really wanted everyone to know, that my computer needs scanning for viruses. Thank you very much.
Yeah, because there was on there. It said something about Shellos was meant to come out in the previous generation, but there was only one version of it, and its evolution as well. But then because it said to me that if you look on the code for the other game, you can find its call and its battle sprite, but they never appear in the game. But then in the next game they show up, but they've like been redeveloped. They've got new calls and stuff, and so you never know. There's a high chance that even stuff that gets leaked or announced like in the next few months could easily be canned from the game because. Right, I'm going to actually count the months now because I keep going to refer to how many months it is and not actually knowing. So
it's the
January,
10th.
March, April, May.
10th. It's the 10th month.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm being really stupid now.
Come on, when does uni start? The 9th month. What's the next month? October. It's the 10th month.
I forgot that we were in January because I know that obviously October 10th month, but I was thinking that forget it. I'm stupid. Just leave it at that. You two people do not comment on that because I already know I'm stupid because I'm an artist. Yeah. That's not all art.
And blonde.
I'm blonde, yes. As much as I might dye my hair, I am blonde. But yeah, it's same. Yeah, in the next 10 months, like 10 months is a long time for a game to be developed. It is one of the things I always used to get confused. That you can get games releasing footage this far ahead, but because I know a few people in the gaming industry, you do find that a lot of the time when they show you graphics of a game, that's pre-rendered. Like even though that is how the game will look when it's played, that's stuff that they've like pre-rendered. They've done it beforehand. They've put loads of work into just doing those few seconds of good footage, and there'll actually be a lot of areas that are just completely broken. There'll be bugs everywhere, and these next 10 months they'll still be finishing levels, they'll still be designing Pokemon, I'd imagine, and all of this stuff. I reckon they'll probably bring out the list of Pokemon maybe like a month ahead or something. I don't know. This is the first time I've properly tracked a Pokemon game because with Black and White I got all excited about it, but I only really heard about it a few months before it came out. Whereas this is the first Pokemon game I've heard about for the the original announcement and stuff. And I realise I'm rambling now, so I'm going to shut up because I'm being boring. But yeah, you get what I mean. It's Well, we won't know what's going to happen because even if people who have tracked previous games' progress from announcement onward predict what could happen, they could decide to mix it up and do something different because you never know. That's my take on it anyway.
Well, I had an idea earlier today about the. I know it's dangerous to have ideas about the next Pokemon game. If they haven't done it with this one, assuming. I'm pretty certain they won't do it with this one. It's basically now you've got a whole new platform, the 3DS, because let's face it, they're gonna have to stick with it for a couple of years. There's no way they're gonna have to get rid of it. I mean, it's only been out a year. Has it even been out that long? I'm not even sure it's been out a year yet. It's basically a complete and utter relaunch. So go right back to the beginning.
Really?
To Red and Blue. And do a relaunch of Red and Blue. However, do it in the same way that you're going to do X and Y from what we've seen so far. So you can play through that, and then after, say, 3 months, which gives you plenty of time to go through the game and do everything else. You know, you collected all the Pokemon from that, you've managed to do all the gyms, you managed to do all the rest of it, is then you download an update which then it coincides with each one they've done previously, and it adds on to the world so you can travel the entire Pokemon map and catch them all on one system.
Wow, if they could pull that off, I would be amazed.
That would be pretty amazing.
Because especially, even if, I mean, it would probably not work because you would have to, there's no way you could do it the way I'm thinking, but you know, like with old game files, how when you compare them to the size we can fit onto a cartridge now, they're so small, but obviously if you remake them, they'll probably be big again. But it'd be good if you could somehow still have like the old ones.
Well, what you probably do is you probably do it so that the cartridge itself is such a big memory space, but there's nothing in it. You could do it 2 ways. You could do it so that the game's on the cartridge and basically the file from the internet that you download every month unlocks another part of the game, so it's already all on one cartridge or one disc or whatever you want to call it. Or your system, the game that you've got is so large, the cartridge is so large with the game on, that it downloads directly into the cartridge. But then at the end of the day, if you wanted to trade it in, you would have to it would be the entire game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wouldn't just be the first one, it would be all of it. Or you have to store it directly onto the hard disk system within the actual DS, and the only way you can do it is if you downloaded it from the online store, which is what they've started doing now. But I don't know how big the internal memory system is on a 3DS, or if there's a way you can change it, because I've never had one. I mean, it is possible that there's an SD... Well, it is possible that they could bring out in the new 3DS an SD cartridge, and then the SD cartridge is basically as big as you can buy an SD cartridge.
Yeah, but then I think the problem they would have with something like that is, what's it called? You know, like people managing to make ROMs and stuff that will play on that console, because that's the exact reason for stuff like the latest PSP, but whatever it's actually called, because they gave it a different name, didn't they?
But PS Vita.
PS Vita, that's the one. With the PS Vita, they made it that it's a rechargeable battery pack, not just a removable battery thing with double A's or whatever, because what people had figured out that they could do is somehow use that battery area to put in ROMs and stuff so that they could illegally play games, get the games for free. And there's all things like that where I think if they had an SD card reader or something, anything really that you could plug in other than a cartridge, because there's even cartridges you can buy. Not that I'm endorsing it, but you can find them.
Well, the PS Vita does have an SD card slot.
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't know, I guess it just varies, because It
Well, I suppose
depends.
if you do it in a certain way, there will be a way that you can do it so only like official it says PlayStation for PSP, so only work if official PlayStation software is put on it, which would stop every Tom, Dick, and Harry doing it. But eventually, someone's going to find a way around it. I mean, it's the same with anything.
Yeah.
Eventually, some bright spark somewhere is going to go, well, look, if we do it this way, we're doing it for free. I mean, you look at some of the ROMs and the torrents and things like that. I mean, I don't do it. I mean, I know you don't do it because, we're all lawful citizens and we buy everything we're supposed to buy. But I
Yep.
know for a fact that on some of them, they actually have the audacity to turn around and say, we did not do this for commercial purposes, we did not do this for your benefit, we did it because we thought it would be fun to do it. Now that is
Yeah.
complete and utter bull. They did it because they wanted it. And the fact that
Yeah.
they've distributed it proves the fact that they have done it for other
Exactly.
people.
Because if they were just doing it for fun, they'd just keep it to themselves. Like, fair enough, they're not making any profit off of it whenever they're giving it away for free, but they're still giving people. I mean, it's because over the past year or so, I don't know if you watch Philip DeFranco at all, but he was saying that in the past year, especially with like shops and stuff and companies attempting to try and develop into this online world so that people don't torrent everything for free. And it shows generally a lot of people, if a lot of people are happy to pay for stuff, the only reason they torrent is because they either just really don't have the money or because it's just more convenient. Because I mean, it's like for me, I used to, like, hand on heart, you can find sites where you can put in the link of a YouTube video, get the music. Everyone argues that, I mean, because I argue it as well, that it's exactly the same as when we were kids and you used to press record while watching the radio. It's no different to that. But in more recent years, I do purchase all of my music because I've started realising that it's not fair to the artists. I mean, some of them. I mean, I went to see a band once and I've just realised we've gone way, way off topic, so I'm not going to finish that. But yeah, you know what I mean. It's people. The majority of people will pay for something if they can, but there are still a lot of people who, if it's available for free, they will take every opportunity to get it, and it sucks because a lot of the time people don't think, oh, I'll try it for free and then I'll pay for it. They just go, oh no, I'll just get it for free and that's it.
Especially where games are concerned. Games are a clincher. At least in the music industry, alright, the artist struggles, the artist doesn't get as much money, but it isn't like the actual producer's going to really struggle from it, because they earn so much money, it's unbelievable.
It varies.
Unless it's like if it's an indie label, that's a bit different. But if it's someone like Louis Walsh, she's got so much money, it doesn't really matter. Not that I'm condoning that you should copy stuff that Louis Walsh is doing, but yeah, as an example, some of them have a lot of money and some of them are dirt poor, but it's best just to buy everything.
I think when things do come from an industry, part of it is that people don't feel as guilty because obviously everyone's like, oh, all the money is going to the big man. I mean, I think in general terms, the people who made the game have to get paid no matter what. Just if a game suddenly goes, oh, we're not selling, if it's not selling as well as they thought it would, the employees are still going to get paid. They legally can't say, we're not paying you unless, if, say, the game did so badly that they physically could not pay their employees, that's when the little man starts getting hurt. But I think at the minute we're in a state that even though a lot of people do torrent and do get stuff legally and it's a shame, it's not to a degree that it's hurting the industry that much. I might be wrong, but that's just from what I know. So, it's all relative.
Everything's relative. Even the fact that we're talking about this and we're supposed to be talking about Pokemon is still relative in a certain sense. Anyway, to get more back on topic before we wrap up, what is your favourite Pokemon of all of the generations?
Oh, that's not fair. There's so many. There's no way I could answer that question. Can you answer that question?
Yeah, he's on the screen. He's on the screen. He's right there on the left-hand side.
So,
and you can't even see it. Oh, well, yeah, Bulbasaur, yeah. That is right. But Bulbasaur is definitely my favourite without a shadow of a doubt. I love that Pokemon.
You definitely come across as a Bulbasaur person to me.
Oh,
Thing is,
right, okay. I come across as a seed. Okay.
really hard because there's so much to take in when you're thinking about what your favorite Pokemon is, and if we're thinking of just starters, like out of all of the starters that have ever come out, I still prefer the original three because in every other generation, there's maybe only been one that I really liked, and they've not had the same feeling when picking them. Like I can usually either go, "Oh, I'll have that one." Whereas with the first generation, I always sit there for about a good 10 minutes angsting over which one I want. And then also I could take into whatever I've forgotten the word I'm looking for now.
Consideration.
I take into consideration the evolutions as well. So if we're talking Charmander, I'm not a huge fan of Charmander. Like he's cute, but not that cute. But I do love Charmeleon and Charizard. Whereas Squirtle and Wartortle, I love those two. I'm not a huge fan of Blastoise. And the same goes for Bulbasaur and Ivysaur. I love those, but Venusaur, I'm not a huge fan. I'm pretty sure in Pokemon Blue and Red, when you get Venusaur, there's a carrot sticking out of his back, which I always found weird. Not that that's got anything to do with picking Pokemon, but there really are too many. Because it's like I'm still yet to finish it, but there's on DeviantArt a challenge drawing thing you can do where you say what your favorite Pokemon of each type is from each generation, and I struggle even with that because actually no, favorite Pokemon, Dragonair. I've just realised I freaking love Dragonair so much.
You heard it here first, folks. She loves Dragonair.
Could have a Pokemon in real life, hands down it'd be Dragonair. Because all the others, I like them, but if I could have one in real life, Dragonair. No question. He's so beautiful and blue. He's like my favourite shade of blue.
I'd have a Bulbasaur and I'd have him grow all the vegetables and then sell them to vegans.
Only vegans. No, even if you're a meat.
No, even if you're a vegetarian. Nope, only vegans. Because vegans pay through the nose for any food. Because there isn't a lot of it. And I can just stick a "Made by Bulbasaur, vegan friendly" logo on it, and I'll be like, "Oh my god, this is fantastic!" And they'll all buy it. Because all vegans talk like this, apparently. Yeah, that's how you can spot them a mile away. They don't have magical powers, they talk like this! And then you're like, vegan. Not an insult, it's what you are.
I knew a vegan, and I can tell you for a fact, she always spoke like that.
Was that like your proper deadpan voice? I knew a vegan once. They definitely spoke like that.
Just, I knew a vegan once. That's like my equivalent of saying, I've got black friends. I knew a vegan once. I'm sorry if that offends anyone, but this is a strange sense of humour. So if I say anything that offends anyone, take it with a little bit of a
she is a moron. She doesn't really mean it. Even though it's hilarious.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm stupid.
Right, I think we'll leave it there because we're running up to an hour. Well, we're running up to 55 minutes. That's close enough to an hour for me. Alright, so see you guys later. Next time we may be playing some more Castle Crashers. We may not. We may be doing this again, but with something else entirely different. Hopefully we're going to try and get some more people to come up and talk rather than just be me and Claire. But for once, Claire's spoke more than me, which is, for anybody else who actually knows us, it's quite a miracle, believe me. So that's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
See you next time. Bye.